What's up, everybody? It's the Common Sense Buster coming at you with another video. And in this video, we're going to talk about the Wall Street Mafia, okay? Now, I was watching Frankie Muhammad's video entitled, Wall Street Short Sellers Stole $100 Trillion from Retail. 6 countries ban naked shorting, alright? And it's an interview with Wes Christian where they're saying war with the Wall Street Mafia. Now, I thought that was awesome because I remembered, and I told Frankie in his comments, over here in our petition, it says Citadel ban in China. See, they didn't just ban naked short selling, they banned Citadel's ass from their markets. Citadel was banned in China for 5 years. Fined $97 million for allegedly crashing the mainland metals market with what? Illegal short selling. In 2015, Citadel Securities saw one of its accounts, managed by the Shanghai-based futures trading firm, barred from trading shares by securities regulators. Citadel Securities was the first foreign broker to be caught up in the Beijing crackdown that barred 24 other accounts with the mainland's 2 major stock exchanges. They got rid of Citadel for 5 years out of their market for illegal naked short selling. And if you have not signed the petition yet to ban King Griffin from our stock market, we're almost to 17,000 people. Now, I've already wrote the letters, and I've got these right here that have to go out tomorrow that I'm mailing. And I got to do 2 more. By the end of this video, you'll understand why tomorrow I have to mail 2 more along with this. Because I found us 2 more allies, I believe. Maybe. But back to the Wall Street Mafia, okay? Now, I don't want to use the word mafia as a concept, okay? Because you think of the word mafia and you think, yeah, organized crime, blah, blah, blah. But think about it like this. Think about it personally. In the mob, let's think of The Godfather, for example. There was a head, all right? There's somebody at the head of this organized crime family, all right? They're the head. And just like in The Godfather, they have multiple families that operate underneath them. When we say mafia, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about a figment out there that says, oh yes, mafia equals organized crime and collusion. And we're talking about actual people who are in position that is stealing everything from us or allowing it. And so now I'm going to uncover who they are, all right? And the very first one, and if there was going to be a head at the top of all of this, it would be the ICE director, the owner of ICE. ICE owns 13 different exchanges, okay? And King Griffin runs wild in all of them. So, if there's anybody to blame, it's the head of ICE. He's the godfather of it all. And just like in the movie Godfather, they had the heads of the 5 families. That would be the ones that run the New York Stock Exchange, the OTC markets, the New York Stock Exchange Chicago. Explain to me why we need 2 New York Stock Exchanges, one in New York and one in Chicago, but that's another story. The CBOE, and FINRA's not a part of it, but they're not in charge either. They can take their orders from the top, which owns all of these exchanges, all right? And they might as well own FINRA too. But at the very top is the director of ICE. So I decided, you know what? Let's find out a little bit more about this joker. Who is it that runs the show? And so I've done a little digging. And I find out that the ICE chair and CEO's name was Jeffrey Sprecher, okay? And he's to present at the 40th annual Bernstein, blah, 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 blah. But CEO and chair Jeffrey Sprecher. So then I said, okay, who is Jerry Sprecher? And what I found on Bloomberg blew me away. ICE's Jeffrey Sprecher turns billionaire on the eve of wife's Georgia runoff. The owner of the New York Stock Exchange is married to who? Republican Kelly Loeffler. And I said, you got to be shitting me. Kelly Loeffler is married to Jeffrey Sprecher, which is the CEO and the chair of ICE, which overrules everything in the stock market. If you remember, the SEC just fined Jeffrey Sprecher and them for not letting them know about a security breach in their data. Remember that? All right, this is who they're talking about. But as I look at this, and we're going to talk more about Kelly in a second, I looked at this picture of him, and I'm thinking, he's in deep meditation right there. He's listening to whatever that speaker's saying, and I look over there, and who the hell do you think he's talking to? That's Ken Griffin. Now, I know it's blurred and we can't see for sure, but man, let me tell you something. I've seen that son of a bitch's face over 1,000,000 times in the past 3 years, and Jeffrey Sprecher is sitting there talking to Ken Griffin. Now, perhaps they're in some type of interview. I don't know. We should find out more. All right? But that's very important. I believe that's Ken Griffin that he's talking to, and that's the head of ICE, which controls all the exchanges. And he's married to Republican Kelly Loeffler. Now, before I talk about Kelly and why she's important, I want to bring your attention back to the headline. Jeffrey Sprecher turns billionaire on the eve of his wife's Georgia runoff. He wasn't a billionaire. He became a billionaire on the eve of his wife's Georgia runoff. And the story's got a picture of him sitting there contemplating whatever the hell Ken Griffin's saying. But okay, the name Kelly Loeffler was familiar to me, but I couldn't quite remember. So I went and looked it up. And when I seen who she was, people, it floored me. We are talking about a Trump girl right here, boy. And this was a heated, contested race in Georgia. I remember it now because she got her ass whooped by Raphael Warnock, Democrat. And they couldn't deal with it. Oh, my God. But there's a couple things to take away from this. First, we got the person that's married to Kelly Loeffler, which is a United States Senator. She's married to ICE. So, we can look at this in two ways. We can go, she's an enemy, or we got contact with the head of ICE by contacting Kelly Loeffler. See, one of two things. If they are running with Ken Griffin, then perhaps us contacting her and giving her one of these can get an inquiry going with her husband. All right. Oh, and I'm glad I picked this up. This is for Steve Scott. All right. Steve contributed $20 to the channel, showed his support to the channel. And he asked, could he get a copy? And I told him absolutely. I would send him a copy of the proposal. So, Steve, that's on the way. But I think we can flip her. Especially with what's going on. Wait a minute. Nope, I've already sent that off. To Devin Nunes. All right? Devin Nunes needs to get with Trump, and Trump needs to get his people in line because she was one of his people, and she needs to fall in line and say that it's time to get rid of Ken Griffin and talk to her husband. And the second person Trump needs to get in line is Hester Pierce's ass. All right? And get rid of her. Because she's definitely part of the problem that runs with Ken Griffin and these naked short-selling market makers. All right? So, that's where I'm at. So, now, those are the two proposals that now I got to take, and I got to print them out, put them in their envelopes, get them ready for tomorrow. Kelly Loeffler's going to get one, and the personal letter in there to her is going to be, hey, you need to talk to your husband and tell him what's going on here if he don't understand. And show him our proposal to get rid of Ken Griffin. And then I'm going to send one to Mr. Raphael, which is Reverend Raphael Warnock. So, Mr. Warnock, your letter and your proposal, along with the petition signed by over 17,000 people, say it's time to get Ken Griffin out of our market. And I hope y'all found some value with this. I love y'all. Be blessed, and I'll see you in the next video.